Under the lights of UFC 319, the fighting world once again shifted around a man who has built his career on chaos and domination. Khamzat Chimaev, known for his ferocity and unrelenting will to break opponents, now stands in the center of a storm bigger than any single fight. Fresh off his middleweight title victory, he's not just the champion of a division. He's a prize every promoter, fighter, and billionaire seems to want a piece of. And just as the dust settled, a bombshell emerged. Reports began spreading across Russian-speaking media that Chimaev had been offered a staggering $30 million for a single fight, a figure so colossal it dwarfs most of the UFC's biggest purses. The offer came straight from the hands of powerful Arab sheikhs who appear intent on turning the Chechen-born Swedish fighter into the centerpiece of a grand spectacle. The question gripping fans now is simple. Who could possibly be standing across from him in this multimillion-dollar showdown? The whispers say Islam Makhachev, the reigning lightweight king and pound-for-pound contender, is the target. For months, the fight seemed like fantasy, too complicated for the UFC to arrange, too risky to pit two dominant stars against one another. Yet when sheikhs are willing to put $30 million on the table for each man, fantasy can quickly become reality. Chimaev himself hasn't been shy about it either. He has openly admitted that money drives his decisions, bluntly stating that wherever the biggest paycheck comes from, that's where he'll fight. To him, greatness and wealth go hand in hand, and a clash with Islam, whether realistic or not, is now firmly planted in the realm of possibility. But before diving into the dream matchup, the middleweight division still demands his attention. Reinier de Ridder, the Dutch grappling specialist who once ruled one championship as a two-division champion, has wasted no time throwing his name in the mix. Now ranked 5th in the UFC middleweight ladder, de Ridder has called out Chimaev directly, congratulating him on his title win while promising to test his grappling in ways no one else has managed. Chimaev, never one to step back from trash talk, fired back instantly. "I'll make you look like a white belt, Habibi," he declared. Both men have already agreed on October in Abu Dhabi as a possible stage, and with the UFC eager to bring another blockbuster to the Middle East, the timing feels eerily perfect. The UFC calendar itself is already setting up contenders. In Vancouver, Reinier de Ridder is scheduled to face Anthony "Fluffy" Hernandez, a surging middleweight riding an 8-fight win streak. The winner of that fight could easily position themselves as the rightful challenger to Chimaev's throne. Meanwhile, in Paris, top contenders Nassourdine Imavov and Caio Baralho are set to collide, adding even more fuel to the middleweight fire. The pieces are aligning in a division desperate to find someone capable of even surviving against the reigning champion, let alone dethroning him. Still, the real intrigue lingers outside those rankings. Chimaev's recent performance at UFC 319 against Dricus du Plessis sparked debates across the sport. Known for his ferocious rushes and wild finishes, Chimaev instead relied almost exclusively on his grappling, smothering du Plessis with relentless takedowns and top control. Some fans criticized it as boring, expecting the berserker they'd grown accustomed to. But behind the scenes, his corner had drilled a simple, ruthless plan into him: do not abandon what's working. Arman Tsarukyan, who stood in his corner, confirmed that when Chimaev considered standing and trading in the later rounds, his team immediately shut the idea down. "Stick to wrestling," they told him. "Don't risk what's already in the bag." Veteran coach Javier Mendez backed the strategy, explaining that when the stakes are this high, reckless bravado is pointless. A champion's job is to win, and sometimes winning means grinding an opponent down until there will breaks. "Why risk it?" Mendez asked rhetorically. "This is your big opportunity to be the guy. You don't throw that away just to entertain." To him, and to many experienced fighters, Chimaev's dominance over du Plessis was not boring. It was proof that his grappling had reached a suffocating, championship-caliber level. Dominick Cruz, himself a cerebral fighter, took it even further, suggesting that the sport may now be cycling back into another grappler-driven era. Just as striking heavy fighters like Israel Adesanya once defined a generation, now men like Chimaev, Usman, and Hernandez are forcing opponents to reckon with suffocating pressure, high-level wrestling, and top control. According to Cruz, the question is no longer whether you can stop the takedown, it's whether you can get back up once you've been planted. Chimaev, he argued, is the embodiment of that new wave. Against du Plessis, not once could the South African create separation. He was trapped in a cage of Chimaev's making, unable to escape, unable to breathe. That, Cruz warned, is the new reality for anyone standing in front of the champion. Of course, criticism never vanishes completely. The jeers of fans echoed through the arena that night, but rising star Paddy Pimblett came rushing to Chimaev's defense. On his own channel, Pimblett tore into the so-called casuals, saying that only true fans and fighters could appreciate the skill on display. To him, Chimaev's suffocating performance was a masterclass, a one-sided dismantling that deserved respect, not boos. Yet even while defending his friend, Pimblett couldn't resist poking fun at Arman Tsarukyan, mocking the lightweight contender by saying the closest he'll ever get to a UFC belt is by standing beside Chimaev during his victory celebrations. The jab was playful but sharp, another reminder of how rivalries can be born in the smallest of moments.
As if all of this weren't enough drama, the MMA world was thrown a bizarre curveball from outside the cage. Popular streamer HS Tiki, known more for his online antics than combat sports credibility, decided to call out former middleweight champion Sean Strickland. He didn't just issue a challenge. He put up $40,000 for a sparring match, promising to dog-walk the ex-champion. Strickland, never one to back down from conflict, hasn't ignored the noise, and now fans are salivating at the possibility of watching a brash streamer get humbled by one of the UFC's most unpredictable fighters. Whether it's spectacle or sideshow, it speaks to the magnetic pull of fighting. Everyone wants a piece of it, even those with no business stepping into a cage. But while sideshows grab headlines, the focus always comes back to Chimaev. His reign has only just begun, yet already his future looks unlike any other champion before him. The UFC must decide whether to give him a traditional defense against a ranked contender, or whether to chase the thunderstorm of money and hype that a super fight against Makhachev would bring. The sheikhs, with seemingly bottomless pockets, want it badly. Chimaev himself is open to it. And in the sport of MMA, when enough money piles up, the impossible often becomes inevitable. The fight world stands on edge. Will Chimaev defend his belt against Renier de Ridder or Anthony Hernandez, grinding through another grappler in Abu Dhabi this October? Or will the UFC bend to the roar of money and spectacle, setting up one of the most anticipated super fights in recent memory? For now, the answers remain hidden. But one truth is clear: Chimaev has become bigger than a division. He is a force pulling the sport toward him, a man who makes even the wildest rumors feel like destiny. And when he steps back into the cage, whether it's against a Ridder, Hernandez, or Makhachev, the world will be watching. So what do you think, fight fans? Should the UFC follow tradition and line up a ranked middleweight for Chimaev's first title defense? Or should they give in to the pressure and book the mega fight against Islam Makhachev if the money is truly on the table? Is Chimaev's style evolving into a smarter, more dominant approach, or has he lost the fire that first made him so terrifying? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed the breakdown, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of the chaos still to come. The story of Khamzat Chimaev has only just begun, and the next chapter might just shake the fight world to its core.